This scarf design didn't come from a computer. I made it, and today you will see how. Hi, I'm Krista, the scarf lady who uses the magical and ancient art of water marbling to print one-of-a-kind scarves. Today we are making a garden. First we skimmed the tray and added our background color. Today we've used Titan Buff. We also are layering these green tones on top of each other in an S formation. 3 or maybe 4 different colors of green. We're going to make it look like a caterpillar. Do you see the caterpillar? Once we have all of our spots that look like a caterpillar, we're going to pull a stick through the center of it, and that caterpillar is going to disappear. Do you see the caterpillar? I would love you to comment caterpillar if you see it. So now we've added all of our color, and we're going to pull, oh, there's one more color. Wow, I forgot I added that one. So why do we add so many colors? What I find is on the leaves, it gives us the contrast. If we just had one single color, it doesn't have as much visual interest. If we add more color, we get that visual contrast. All right, finally, now we're ready for the stick. We're gonna pull through the center of our droplets. We're creating essentially a row of hearts, but we're gonna change it with a couple more steps. I think, or maybe not. I think we're going to change it. Yes, okay. The side to side helps lengthen that green into the white background, giving it those nice leaf-like petals or leaves. It also creates a bit of current with the gel that we're floating on to create that almost whimsical leaf with a little bit of flowing edges. And back down the center to recreate that stem feel. And every time we pull a tool through, those lines are going to get finer and finer. So if you don't want that thinner detail and you want things to be thicker, chunkier color, less movement is what you want to do. So now we're ready for some flowers. Now we could add the flowers anywhere we want. It's just fresh drops. They can be placed in the leaves, on the leaves, beside the leaves. There's no wrong choice. With this process, there's no color theory. That paint is not mixing or adding to the other color. It's actually staying completely separate. So it's pushing and moving those other colors out of the way. That's one of my favorite things about this process is I don't have to remember, oh, don't add blue beside green because that'll make a different color. No, they stay completely separate every single time that you add more color. So now that we've added our droplets of paint, we have a couple of choices. We can layer it with more color, or we can leave that color as a solo color and turn it into whatever we wanted. But I've gone with layering. So we're going to layer different shades of pink. Now we're going to notice that some of these colors are really going to spread and expand and get really big, and some are going to stay really small. So I like to say some colors are bossy and some colors are shy. Some colors can just take over your whole design and become very dominant, and others are like, wow, where'd that color go? It's like so tiny. See how much that one spread? That bubblegum pink, I call it, is got a lot of dispersant in it, which makes it open and push. I think sometimes it can be really hard for people to mentally get over how uncontrollable this art form is, and other people just like totally embrace it and are like, yay, it's chaos. I love chaos. So it just depends on your mind process. I love that this paint has really opened and spread because now this coral that doesn't spread very much can become multiple droplets in the center of my flowers. So once we have all the paint down, do I have all the paint down? Oh no, I'm going back for more. One more color. So probably a little bit of magenta in the center. So we've got a dark magenta on the rim, another color, I think crimson, a little bit of bubblegum pink, some coral, and now we're going back to magenta. So it's going to give us so much richness and depth with that contrast of colors. So you could leave them in this circle shape. It's kind of giving poppy vibes. Or you could pull out a barbecue skewer and start creating movement that's going to create petals. So just by cutting through the paint towards the center, we're cutting petals. Now, I don't tend to wipe my stick a lot when I'm creating flowers, so you can see that by not wiping the stick, I was transferring color. Now I've picked up a cloth and I'm going to change it, of course. So here we go. Yeah, you can still see there's a little bit of color transfer that happens every time I touch the stick because I didn't wipe it. I kind of like that imperfection because it brings color into places and kind of pulls it. So it's totally up to you. There's no wrong way. There's no water marbling police that are going to come tell you you're doing it wrong. Unless maybe you have somebody that's your water marbling police that will. But the other thing with this tool is keeping it straight up and down really helps me have quite a bit more control as opposed to really swishing it as I go back and forth. I do tend to keep the tool more straight up and down and don't do a lot of swishing at the end of my movements because I don't want to give a ton of extra movement into the center of those flowers. I just want that water to kind of stop or slow down when I get there. Now, I would love to know, would you leave these petals rounded or would you go in and flick those edges out and make fairy petals? So we're going to print this scarf. With the scarf itself that we're holding up over the tray, we like to keep it snug and tight versus super loose. We want it to not touch until we're totally ready to print it. Has anyone ever dropped one? Yes, we have. And it happens, and it's not a big deal. If you love this process, there's more. Subscribe to watch, and we look forward to sharing our art with you.